first up, have you got an update on the key forwards? Are you committed to playing either of Sam or Ben after their VFL form?
I was certainly looking at it, there's no question about that. They both played really well. The challenge we've got right now, it's still very early in the week, and we're still looking at what Bailey Fritsch's availability is going to look like for us. So we've got some training to get through before we make a really firm decision on what the team looks like. But they're both available. They both perform strongly in the VFL. So it's a good problem to have. I know you're sitting there and you want an answer. I just haven't got one for you.
What are some of the things you're weighing up? So the forward pressure's been unreal to start the season, and do you feel that the balance could be disrupted if you go with a certain way with bringing both back at once?
Yeah, look, the balance of the team is looking good. Obviously, we're applying some great forward pressure. We're getting some really good aerial competition, and the guys in the team have performed strongly. So we've got some decisions to make, and we'll continue to look at is our method right? Is it going well? Can our personnel make it better? And they're the sort of things that we're weighing up. But it also comes down to some availability at this point. As I said, it's early in the week. Bailey Fritsch is coming off an operation. He's tracking well, but we need to make sure come later in the week that he can perform to the level and make himself available.
They've been on pretty... Oh, sorry, Mitch.
You go.
I was going to say, they've been on pretty similar programs, Ben and Sam Goody. But do the goals mean anything in terms of what he produced last week in the VFL?
I think when you look at a key forward, you want them to kick goals, but they both hit the scoreboard. The week before in the game time they had, Ben certainly performed really strongly. And you look at both their match reports and the vision that you see, and they're both rated really highly in their games. So we're in a really fortunate position, and it's a challenging one for us as a coaching group to work out what's going to be our best formula moving forward. But in saying that, we're really comfortable with the formula we've got as well. So as I said, we're going to continue to look through that. We'll train today. We'll see what our availability looks like, and we'll make a decision. And the team that plays this weekend won't be the team that plays in round 10. It won't be the same team that plays in round 15. So we'll continue to adjust and adapt and find the best way moving forward.
Simon,
You go,
Mitch. I was just going to say, can you bring them both back in at once, given they're both coming back from injury, or more likely, so you don't, I guess, upset what you've had going so far, you'd only bring one in?
Yeah, that'll definitely be the case. We're certainly not going to bring them both back. I'll give you that as an answer for sure. The team's functioning well, and we need to be really careful that we don't adjust too much at once, and maybe we keep that chemistry going and keep the balance within our footy team really strong. So, for one of those guys, it's going to be a little bit longer, and we'll just continue to monitor how our team's going at AFL level. And as I said, this week's 1 week, but it can change very quickly for us as well.
How's Stephen May doing, Goody? Is he a chance to come back?
Yeah, Steve's progressing really well. He's got the clearance from the surgeon around his eye. So he's really confident in that. He's got to get through some concussion protocols in the back end of the week, but he's really confident. He's trained really strongly through this little period in the last 4 or 5 days. So we're confident that he's in a good position and will be available to play. And, we're going to need Stephen. He's a really good leader for us, and they've got some really dominant key forwards in the game, so it'll be good to have him back.
Simon, I just wanted to ask about your defensive performances this year. They've been fantastic, obviously, from everything from points conceded through to kind of marks conceded inside 50, but there's one stat, you're doing really well when it comes to stopping the team scoring against you from turnovers. And I know that there's some great individual performances in your defence this year, but from a system point of view, why is that going so well, and where have you improved to really shore up that area?
Yeah, probably in the last few years we worked really strongly on our defensive method, both when the ball's in our half of the ground, but also when the ball's in transition, and our ability not only on the inside but the outside of contest areas is getting better and better as we've gone, and it's been a couple of years in progress. Last year, you'd notice in our defensive performance last year, we became quite stable in our ability to defend last year. This year's just been added with some of the work that we've had behind the ball, but also some of our methods. So it's been a work in progress. It's been a couple of years. It's something we've really focused in on to start to be the team and play the way that we want to play. We need to really stiffen up defensively in all phases around the ground, and it's credit to Troy Chaplin and the work that he's done defensively with the team to put us in that position, and we're starting to get the rewards off some of the work they've put in.
And does that really start with your forwards as well, that strength defensively, the way they defend, or set up?
Yeah, to defend the way you want to defend, it's all areas of the ground, it's all positions. It's your forwards, it's your mids and your backs. They all need to be in sync and operate together and have great clarity and system in the way that they want to defend and where the most important parts of the ground and to be aggressive and not so aggressive. So it takes all areas, but there's no doubt when that ball's going in, we want our forwards, our first line of defence is those guys.
Simon, you got a plan for Dusty? I think Hibbert's gone to him for Paul. Will that sort of be, I guess, one option or one you're leaning towards?
He takes up a fair bit of time as a coach to think through what's best for Dusty, but we'll have some plans for him. He's a quality player. You don't have to go too far back to see his impact in games, and how he can actually win games of footy. So we'll have multiple plans for him in different areas of the ground, depending on how we want to structure up. But he's certainly a player that will be highly respected. He's a class act and one that can win games of footy.